we're speaking about a throwback Thursday where we're throwing back to something that wasn't so great. It was a very low point of South African football. It was a very low point of who we are as people as well in order to allow this to happen. Because you must understand one thing. If you are architecting, if you're sitting there and you're the architect of a scoreline like 60-0 in order for your team to get more points via goal difference and win something, which means you have to go to young kids who are in their 16s, 17, 18s, and their teens really, who are looking and aspiring to play professional football, and you have to teach them to cheat. Do you understand that? You have to teach them to cheat because you have to say to them, guys, this match needs to be won by over 60 goals. So you need to allow the other team to win by 60 goals. So therefore, you are introducing them to bad habits already. You're introducing them to cheating. You're introducing them to accepting, be it money, be it kind, be it whatever it is that is an offer in order for this to happen and be perpetuated. Nobody's ever come out and said it. I even asked about the money. I'm not sure what the exchange is, but you are saying to them, there's exchange for your pride, there's exchange for your talent, there's exchange for honesty, is what you're doing. Let me take you back. Last year, when we did have this conversation, I spoke to Ncube on what had happened when he and his team scored 59 goals.
Yeah, so we just dragged them to the game. We also got some red cards because our players were angry.
How many red cards did you get in that game?
3.
3 red cards?
Yes.
So you're playing with 8 men?
Yes.
And then tell me about the 59 goals. Were they legitimate goals? You guys had 8 men and you couldn't defend?
Yeah, and they've already given up on the game.
What? Even with 8 men, I still can't see how you lose 59.
Yeah, I understand. The players were not, their minds were not there because they knew that even if they win, it's done deal. There was no chance that they are going to compete or win the league.
So they just allowed them to score. You guys were not defending? Because, I mean, if you're losing by 59, it means every 2 minutes there's a goal going in.
Yeah.
And you're the coach sitting on the sidelines. You're allowing your boys on the pitch to just watch a match and you don't mind that they're conceding goals.
Yeah, that's what happened that day. And I was pushing them, but if we can push them and their mind is not there, there's nothing I can do.
So that was the conversation. That's the coach of the team that lost by 59 goals. And he's like, no, man, my players weren't there. They weren't, playing. Their minds were not in the game. Even the coach sounded dejected and given up, isn't it? But still, you can't tell me that was okay. Now, here's Eddie Tlungwane on what happened when 33 goals were scored in a different match in the same time from 2 opposing teams who were both competing for the same thing. 33 real goals.
Yes, it's 33 one.
What I'm saying is you are telling me right now that those were real goals, all of them.
From goal number 4 up to goal number 9, the completion of the game started after when we had the result from Matthias and Sami.
What do you mean by completion changed?
When I said the completion of the game started, we mean that we started to score more goals after when we had that.
Real goals. Like your team just pulled up their socks like Superman or Popeye eating spinach and now they could score goals.
Yes.
Yeah. And then the same coach then tries to tell me, who conceded all these goals, that actually, as a matter of fact, he wasn't coaching on the day. But it was a fact that was untrue. Have a listen to this. This is, once again, Ncube saying, I was not the coach on the day, which I pressed him on. And I'm building this up and telling you this in order to tell you about what's happened just a couple of days ago.
No, I was not even helping the opposition. Even if you can check the team list, my name was not there for that particular day. I was just called to the DC as they know that I'm the coach of the team.
No, but last time when you were there, you're not there at the game.
No, I was in the game, but I was not participating in anything.
No, coach, I spoke to you last week and I asked you, how do you concede 59 goals? And you said to me, you're trying to coach your boys and motivate them, but they wouldn't listen to you because they were demotivated.
That's right. But I was not in my name was not in it, meaning that day I was not the coach.
But you were coaching?
Yeah, I'm the coach of the team. I was not coaching on that particular day because I know that I saw the players that they were not going to give me what I want.
Coach, I just want to get this clear. You said to me that you were talking to your boys on the day, but they wouldn't listen to you because they wouldn't listen to you because they were demoralized. When the goals kept going in, you kept telling them and they wouldn't listen to you. That's what you said, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So therefore you were coaching?
Yeah, I was coaching.
So on the day you were the coach?
Yeah, I was the coach.
These are the kind of people that we deal with. These are the kind of people that are in charge when you send your little brother, out to go play football, and you're hoping that one day a coach who's a visionary is going to take hold of this talent And one day, you're going to see them like we see the Springboks today, in Bafana colours, on top of a bus, celebrating some sort of heroic achievement. But with coaches like that and goals like that going in, I ask you, is it even possible? Now, Andile, why are you telling all of this? This happened last year. Yes, it did happen last year, and we thought we'd sorted it out, right? We thought we were done with it. Well, let me tell you this. This year, I'm not talking about too long ago. I'm talking about on the 29th of October, Sunday the 29th of October 2023, there was a continuation of the SAFA Cape Town men's regional playoffs, right? 8 groups found themselves in competition, and all groups went down to the wire. Group H in particular is where I want to pass and put a lot of my emphasis and attention on. Diadora, Electric City, 2 for Joy, and West Coast. Those are the teams that were playing in that particular grouping. Now, Andile, what were the scores when they played? Diadora and Electric City, 2-0. That's a respectable football score. Understand, it happens. Second game, 2 for Joy play West Coast, and it's 2-0, which means now Diadora and 2 for Joy are tied for points and are tied on goal difference as well. So there needs to be a significant goal difference winning in the following match. How do you make sure of that? You score as many goals as possible, as feasible in the game of football. So, what do Diadora do? They go and score 35 goals against Electric City. 35-1. From 2-0 at halftime to 35. So that's 33 goals scored in the second half alone. Come on. No. Is it just me? SAFA's gone now and said, hey, we're going to investigate. We'll look into it. We're not quite sure what happened. 2 for Joy. They then went and played West Coast. 22-0 is how that ended. I've watched mini league football. I've watched kids football. I've seen 16 goals in a kids match. I've seen 18 even in a kids match. And even in that, it's just a bunch of kids plucking grass from its roots when the other one is running because, they're a little bit more, I don't want to say talented, but they're a little bit more aware of what's going on than the others. But this is ridiculous. So let's speak to them. Let's find out if, unlike the ones that we've spoken to in the past, they can perhaps give us some sort of reasonable excuse or make us believe, unlike what Neil Kulana did when he was the coach, but not quite the coach, when he was part of the team, but not quite part of the team. This time around, we're going to be speaking to iDiski Times reporter Usnathemba Makongo, who was there, who watched it all. And then we'll speak to 2 for Joy coach and manager Andile Sabiso Nagoza to find out from him, hey, what happened? And then Cape Town Regional Vice President and Head of Competition, Andrew Borthman, to ask how SAFA feels about this. We're hoping also to get a hold of the coach out at Diadora. I think they're running away from speaking to us. And if they do run away from speaking to us, I can only then just ask, what is it that you're running away from? Because if it's the truth, then you need not be running away. You need to just come here and I'll ask you a couple of questions. You give me a couple of answers and it's over. It's that simple, really. I don't know how much of this you believe, but I'd like to get a little bit more context. In order to do that, we got to move on and speak to Andile. I think it's Andile Nokauza that we have. Yeah, 2 for Joy coach and manager. I was hoping that we're going to be starting with Usnathemba Makongo. Do you have him on the line? Oh, we're trying to get a hold of Usnathemba Makongo, who's the iDiski Times reporter who reported the story first. But since we're still trying to find Usnathemba, let's go to Andile Sabiso Nokauza, who is the coach of 2 for Joy. Coach, welcome and thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Andile. How are you?
Yeah, no, I'm good, man. 2 for Joy. Is it the 2 for Joy that I think it is? The 2 for Joy I grew up watching? The 2 for Joy that I think Steve Likwelea played for even?
No, it is the 2 for Joy from Cape Town.
Oh, this is a 2 for Joy that is inspired by that 2 for Joy.
Yes.
Oh, no, that's amazing. It used to be a childhood dream to play in the Chappies Little League for every little boy in South Africa, to don that, I think it was maroon kit of 2 for Joy, and play at the FNB Stadium is what we used to see Ontangabetu playing in. But nonetheless, 2 for Joy, down in Cape Town, regional qualifications. You're trying to get promotions. Tell me about how the weekend was.
Oh, okay. The weekend was fine. Okay, let me start on our first game on Wednesday when we were playing against Diadora, of which we drew 2-2. Then on Saturday, we went to play our second game. We were playing against Electric City. Then we won there by 12-1. Yes. Then on Sunday, that's when we played our third and fourth game. So our
against
third
West
game,
Coast, yeah?
Our third game was against the Rebels. Then we won there by 4-1.
4-1, yeah.
Yes. Then we've played the last game, which was a bit of a decider. It was a decider.
Who did you play there?
We played against West Coast.
Yes, West Coast. What was the score?
The score, it ended up 22-0.
22-0.
Yes.
Okay. Please, just for context sake, Diadora, how did they play? Yes. They in their allocated matches when they played Electric. What was the score there?
Okay. Can I start with all their games?
Go for it.
Okay. Yeah, they drew against us 2-2. Then they played. They played the Rebels. They won 1-0. Then on Sunday they played 2 games where they won. They played 2 games on Saturday. They won 3-0 against West Coast. Then on Sunday, the decider game, they won 35-1.
Against Electric.
Against Electric City. So on those 2 games, the first half, we were leading 1-0 going to the halftime. And on the other side, they were winning 2-0.
Were these games played at the same time?
At the same time, yes.
So this is the game. This is the game where you scored 22, and the game where they scored 35. They were being played at the same time.
Yes, they were playing at the same time.
You know what, Coach? So, I want to do something here, man. If you don't mind, I want to just put you on hold quickly because I want to speak to the journalist Sinatemba Makongo and introduce him to the conversation as well. From Itiski Times, the reporter Sinatemba is with us. Sinatemba.
Yes, Brahma.
Oh, grand. Can you hear me, Sinatemba?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me on your side?
Oh, I can. You know what? I'm going to get a better line for you while I carry on with the coach there. But we've got Usnetemba with us here as well. Okay, Coach. So then I was listening. I just wanted to introduce Usnetemba to the conversation. So then talk to me about how then this all transpired. Talk to me about you, the coach that architects so many goals being scored. Just to highlight how good this team of yours is.
Okay, Andile. Okay, let me start from the second half because the second half started before ours. Then when we came from the changing room, then we had the score. It's 5-1 already. Yeah. So we went in and played. As we are playing on this pitch here, Electric City will take the ball and they go and play in their 18 area and play a rondo there. Then Diadora will take the ball and score. Go to the center, the same thing. They kick the ball to their own 18 area. They play a rondo.
Are you talking about Diadora?
Yes.
Were you there for that game?
No, someone was watching from our side.
I don't want you to tell me about the team that you weren't there for. I want you to tell me about your team and how you scored 22 goals.
Oh, okay.
Because now you're hearing the other side has scored 5 goals. Now you need to score more goals to continue because obviously goal difference then becomes important. So tell me about how you go into halftime. What did you say? 2-0 at halftime, right?
No, halftime it was 1-0.
1-0 at halftime. So you came back after halftime and scored 21 goals.
Yes.
Talk to me about the 21 goals.
Okay. Then we played, I think it was 15 minutes. Then we score our second goal.
So you score the second goal. I just want to make sure, Coach. You score your second goal in the 15th minute of the second half, of the 45.
Of the second half.
Which means now you've got 20 goals to score in 30 minutes.
Yes. Okay.
Go for it.
Yeah. So as we were playing, there was a team that was watching us that if one of the teams that wins will face them in the semifinals, which is what Westridge from which has played. So those guys are the ones that were shouting, "Hey, West Coast, let True for Joy to score goals because That side, Electricity is giving goals to Diadora. But our game kept on playing as normal, as per normal. Then on the last 10 minutes...
Okay, so hold on, Coach. Coach, I just want to give proper context here. So 10 minutes to play. The score is 3-0.
Still 2-0.
2-0.
Yes.
With 10 minutes to go. So you need to now score the rest of the 20 goals. So you need 2 goals a minute now. Okay, go for it.
Okay. Then on the 80th minute, West Coast, all their players stopped after Westridge tell them you must give 2 for joy goals. Then they stopped playing. That's when we score those goals. They will take the ball to the center, just kick it, then we go and score. Even my players were crying to them, please guys, those guys are scoring goals that side. And the fans were booing West Coast. And my boys, I don't want to say they were good because West Coast was not playing. They were
you can't say they were good, Coach. You can't. They didn't do anything.
That's why I'm saying I can't say my boys were good. That's what
so
I'm
then,
saying.
if you had to explain what the goals looked like, you would score the goal, they would take the ball, put it back in the center, give it to you, and you would run all the way to the goals to score without nobody stopping you, the keeper not doing anything. You just put it in the back of the net and then you take it back to the middle again.
Yes, that's what happened.
Over and over and over again until you scored the 20 goals in the 10 minutes.
Yes.
Are you proud of that win, Coach?
No, I'm not. Even my players, I told them to stop. But they said to me, no, we need the goals. And as a coach, you can't coach nothing when they are doing that. I've tried by all means, guys, please play clean football. But
and West Coast were just giving you these goals out of the goodness of their heart?
Yes, from my understanding, because after Westridge came from the grandstand and went behind their bench, that's when they stopped playing.
So did they get the instruction from the bench?
Yes.
All right. Let's pause it there with the coach a little bit and just verify the story with the man that was there. Snatemba Makongo, iDiski Times reporter. Snatemba?
Yes, Brahma.
Nkaluiva.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Ndithi Nkaluiva.
Hey, it's shocking. But
you were there. Explain to me, and I'm going to go to the
there.
to the Diadora game first. I'm not sure which game you were at between those two.
Both games I was there.
Okay, talk to me about the first game, the 2 for Joy winning by 22 goals when they played West Coast. How from where you were sitting, what did you see?
Look, first of all, the game at first half, it was a normal game of football, where 2 teams were playing like good football, good entertaining football. But Diadora knew very well that they have to score goals to make it to the next round, since they were 11 on points with 2 for Joy. So second half, immediately when the second half started, we started to see the way West Coast, the way they were playing. You could see that there's something wrong in the second half. They were not pressing, they were not doing anything, they were just walking on the pitch. Diadora put the ball in the back of the net, then quickly ran and put it in the center. So I started to ask questions, what's going on? Then everybody was shocked the way it was happening. Started taking videos, taking pictures, because we could see that there's something wrong in this game. The way the game what was being played in the second half, because this thing all happened in the second half. In the first half, the game was fair. It was a normal game up until the second half started.
And then, did you have an opportunity to go watch the other match against Electric and Diadora, the 35-1 game?
That's the Diadora one. That's the Diadora one.
Yes, the Diadora one.
Yes, that's the one that I'm talking about. The 2 for Joy one, when I saw also the 2 for Joy second half again, when the second half started, it started well, like a normal game. But as the game goes, they went on to score goals. And I was asking myself that time, what's going on in these 2 games? Because this is not normal. But I only find out after the game that when I spoke with the coach of Electricity, he said to me, look, we had to do something for 2 for Joy, because this was not on. Because we could see what's happening on the other game, that Diadora is just putting goals. They're just scoring goals and they're letting them score. So we had to do something about it. We had to give them goals. I was like, so does this mean now that you guys are part of this? They said, no, we're not part of anything. We're just helping. We could see that 2 for Joy need goals also. And the way we see electricity, the way they are playing, they're giving goals away. So we must just do that. We must just do what they are doing also. Give goals to 2 for Joy.
But tell me this, Coach. When you played Electric City, the score was 12-1.
Yes.
Was that normal? Was that like an open game where you were able to score 12 goals in that game? Were they that weak? Were you that strong? Or was there something there as well?
No, Electric City was not in our league because even their first game against Rebels, I think they lost 8-0 on 9-0. Because we were watching them when they were playing, so we could analyze their weak points and everything. Then we capitalized on that. Then that's how we managed to score those 12 goals against them.
So that was normal. That was just you scoring 12 goals because your team was good.
Yes.
All right. So did you perhaps have a conversation, Snatemba? Because we were trying to get a hold of the team at Diadora. They'd promised to speak to us, but now they're ducking and diving and not answering their calls. When you speak to the guys at Diadora, what kind of I mean, I'm just trying to understand here. What kind of answers are they giving you? What are they how are they explaining the 35 goals?
It is unfortunately, I couldn't speak with them also because they've been running away from me. I tried to phone them, I don't know how many times, when I wanted to get the story, balance the story from all angles, but I couldn't get their side of the story. They've been running away from me. One person I could get was Andrew Bothman from SAFA, who's the SAFA Cape Town Vice President, who gave me that he's still investigating the issue. Look, this group, it has been a group of death. That's how I'm going to put it, because when we saw Rebels, Diadora, also 2 for Joy in one group, everybody was excited to see who's going to top the group. But seeing Electric City, everybody was questioning like this club is going to be beaten by all of them. As you see Rebels beat them 8-0, then you see 2 for Joy beat them 12-1, then they lost 35-1 against Diadora. So it raises a lot of questions regarding the team that was in that group.
Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it there, Dr. Makongo. Last one here, Coach, for you. I don't know what you even take away from this. I don't know what you even say to youngsters here. These are future South African national team players. These are future PSL players. I'm not even sure how you go on about as a coach in this situation.
Okay, yeah. From my side, and even after the game, I told my boys, this is not a football. I know this is not the football that we teach them, because in football we teach.
Hold that thought for me, Coach. Hold that thought for me. Hold that thought for me, please. Welcome to it. It is the Mighty Metro FM. This is Sports that are Amplified with Andile. Is manga. But hey, remember that Fagi Goal Uzobona. Visit Calling Black Label Cap.co.za to stand to win up to 90,000 rands every match. T's and C's do apply. We're covering the story of SAFA Cape Town, who have opened an investigation after the LFA promotional playoffs kicked off this past weekend with controversy due to some freak score lines with 58 goals scored in 2 matches. A week ago, 8 groups of promotional playoffs for the SAB League were confirmed, with Group H being identified as a so-called group of death. The champions, Diadora of the Coca-Cola Amateurs, they're up against teams like 2 for Joy from Strand, Rebels of Khayelitsha and West Coast, as well as Electric City. The score lines were laughable. 12-1, 35-1, 22-0 were just some of the score lines. Let's go now and speak to Andile Nogauza, who is the coach for 2 for Joy. Coach, you're still saying, I mean, I appreciate your honesty in knowing that you didn't earn 22 goals. They were given to you, in that you know very well that there wasn't a match that you can be proud of. But your boys, they're looking up to you. There's a lot of parents that have given you leadership of their young ones to be the stewardess that sends them to professional football to achieve their dreams one day. When you think back to this incident, when you look at your career as a coach, how are you going to look back at this? What are you going to say to your boys? How are you going to relive this moment?
Okay, me as a coach who's grooming youngsters, I'm not proud. Even to them, I told them this is not what I teach or what I want them to be in life. Because when you're grooming youngsters, you're teaching them to respect themselves and respect other people. So in a game like that, scoring those goals, I know they were desperate and they were crying that they need the goals. They worked hard for these playoffs. I wasn't proud, and I told them, no, this is not good. And also, I want to go to another thing now. Yeah. Also, I'm not happy with the way SAFA Cape Town is conducting this situation.
Tell me about it, because we're going to be speaking to them in a few seconds. I'm not sure who. There's a sound, Timmy, that's coming through that's very hurtful to the ears. It could be SAFA Vice President in Andile Bootman there. So if you can put that call on hold while we. Yeah, thank you very much. Andile, what are you saying? I'm going to be speaking to SAFA now. What is it that you're unhappy with?
I'm unhappy because they say they are still investigating about this saga of these goals of what happened in that group. So I take SAFA as the parent of all the LFAs that are under SAFA Cape Town. So if there is a problem in your household, you stop everything, then you try to get a solution of the problem. Now they're saying the playoffs will go on as per schedule, that the playoffs will play this weekend, while they say they are still investigating. Because to me, or to anyone who's listening, or anyone who was there watching those games, to be fair to everyone, they should have stopped the playoffs for this weekend, and then they conduct their investigations, because they sent us the summon today that they summoned us to a meeting on Tuesday. So if we're going to that meeting while the playoffs are done over the weekend, so what is the use of going to that meeting? So to me, if they'll say, okay, we're going to suspend the playoffs for this weekend, then we get to the bottom of this. What really happened in these games? So at least then I will know, okay, I've lost. Okay, now I've lost. I'm all right. They investigated both teams. They know the story of Tupo Joy, the story of Diadora, the story of West Coast, the story of Electric City. But now, even there's a journalist called Siraj Jones. He wrote an article, of which I wasn't happy about his article, because everything he said there, he's blaming Tupo Joy, as if Tupo Joy is the one who scored that 35 goals, or Tupo Joy is the one that considered that 35 goals. Although there's other teams that are involved, but the only team that he's talking about is Tupo Joy. And I was like, what are we running here?
Coach, I want you to come out and say it, because you seem to want to get something off your chest. What are your feelings as to what happened with Diadora? What do you think happened in that 35 game?
I'm smelling a match fixing there. That's a match fixing Andile. And also Andile, here in Cape Town, I'm sorry to say this, but I have to say this, because I'm heartbroken. Here in Cape Town, if you are a black man running a team, your team is not respected well, just like the colored teams or the white teams. I'll make an example of APC Motsepe team that was Izizwe. It's a black-owned team, so they went to the playoffs for NFD. Then there was a saga between a player that was improperly registered from Young Bafana, and then Izizwe won that case, and the case went to High Court and everything. And they made sure that, because Young Bafana, it's a white-owned team, Izizwe, it's a black-owned team. So they make sure that the black-owned team doesn't succeed. This is the same situation that is happening now. Everything is being pointing at the black.
Are you saying that Diadora is are you saying the Diadora team is a what team? What team is Diadora?
Diadora it's owned by colours.
So you're saying they're getting preferential treatment because they colored?
Yes, because
And
of
you
their
guys
color.
are not because you're a black team.
Because we are black.
And this preferential treatment is coming from SAFA.
Yes, because they are the ones that are making all these decisions. Because what I expected from our president, because I've got a lot of respect for him, because I thought he would say, let's stop the playoffs for now, then let's conduct the investigation. Then after the investigation, we can go on with the playoffs. So that's where my heart is itching.
All right. Well, I've got Cape Town Regional Vice President and Head of Competition, Andrew Boertman, on the line. I'm going to get Andrew now to talk to us, and let's iron out some of these issues with him. But let's take a quick break first. It's Sports Not Amplified with Andile. Remember, if you missed the show and you just want more information or you want to re-listen to it, it is available on the podcast on the Metro FM website. You can go to YouTube as well. Just click Andile Ncube there. Sports Not Amplified with Andile is available on Twitter, on Instagram, as well as on TikTok, where you can get all the snippets. And all those watching live right now, we see you. And thank you so much for joining us on the live feed there. Andrew Boertman joins me now. He's the Cape Town Regional Vice President and Head of Competition representing SAFA. Andrew, thank you so much for joining us and welcome.
Good evening. Thank you.
Andrew, I understand you're on the road, so I'm going to try and make this as quick as possible. It's not very fun noises that are coming from the road there. The happenings in Cape Town over the last week, you guys are saying you're investigating, but the playoffs are still ongoing as far as I know?
Yes. Just remember, I'm classed ahead, but I'm not the HOD of competition. The HOD of competition is beyond the Sekiti and his team, and I only come in to assist where I can. So that's why I'm heading up the investigation.
You don't think it would have been fair to halt competitions until this investigation of what looks like, very clear daylight? I mean, where have you ever heard of 35 goals being scored in a second half, 20 goals being scored in 10 minutes?
You say it's clear as daylight. I don't know the circumstances. That's why we're investigating.
So it makes sense to you that 20 goals would be scored in 10 minutes?
I'm not saying it makes sense. It could happen. It could not happen unless I investigate and get down to the bottom of it.
You've been working in football for a very long time. 35 goals in one half and 20 goals in 10 minutes. It could happen? Is that's a story you want to go with?
Yes, it could happen. It's possible. You remember it was double headers, Saturday and Sunday, so teams could have run out of steam. Unless I get down to the facts, I cannot say yes or no.
What kind of facts would make this as blatantly obvious as anybody that's listening right now would realize? What kind of facts would you be looking for here if you're being told that a team scored 20 goals in 10 minutes? Mm-hmm. What kind of facts are you investigating? What are you trying to hear out? What is it that you're looking for that would break this case for you, so to speak?
Are we looking at any wrongdoing been done? On both sides.
But that's what I'm trying to get to say. How do you get to the point where you say, okay, fine, we understand and we've done an investigation. Some things were done wrong here. Because the team that conceded 35 goals is not going to come out and say we were paid or told to concede goals. The team that scored the goals is not going to say we, were told that we can just score goals. The coach. So then, how do you then come up to a conclusion that says something was done wrong here?
All I can say, we've opened today. We've opened a email address that is being handled by a legally professional person, where you can anonymously send some information and tips. And I'm telling you, we're surprised what's coming through at the moment. And we're filtering through that at the moment and looking where to take it. Once we've finished our investigation, we will then make recommendations to the SAFA Cape Town REC how to proceed.
This is why, Andrew, I asked you your thoughts on this. So if you can't say to me that it's not clear to you, this is plausible and it could happen, and then say to me that it's surprising the sort of things that are coming in, it means that you are aware of the sort of things that happened during that game because you've been told so. So you are in the middle of this investigation and you've seen and you've heard things. So therefore, you take the plausibility out of it, don't you?
Yeah. But you must remember what we're getting at the moment is hearsay. So we got to test that hearsay.
But that's all there ever could be, isn't it?
Yeah. So we got to test that hearsay. And once we test that hearsay, yes, I'm happy to make recommendations
Andrew,
to the
here's hearsay. I say to you that the game was not a fair game, that there was influence in the game. How are you going to test that hearsay?
We tested. I'm sure you know. I've got experienced people with me, so we're going to test it. We're going to have the hearings. We're going to be summoning people. We're going to be hearing what they say. We're going to be filtering through it, and maybe it's going to take some time, but I'm sure we'll get to the bottom of it.
In the meantime, what happens to the teams that qualify? In the meantime, what happens to the team that need to move on to the next level, to the next league? What happens then if it's going to take some time?
Well, according to the HOD of competition, the under Zakiti and his team, the players is going ahead as planned.
So basically what you're saying to me is that investigation, regardless of what it uncovers, in the time that it's going to take, it could be weeks, it could be months, according to what you've just told me, it's going to take some time. In the meantime, the teams that qualify and go through are going to be playing in the bigger leagues, and the rest of the teams need to go home. I don't understand what your investigation is then going to uncover. I put it to you now that 35 goals in one half, 20 goals in 10 minutes is unrealistic. And that SAFA should halt the playoffs up until such a point where you are satisfied that everything was done according to book. Why can't it be done in that way?
Okay, maybe you should understand the team winning promotion this year only comes into the third division next year.
I completely understand that.
So we got enough time on the hands to handle this. That's why I say the HOD of competition has decided to complete it, and whatever comes out of the investigation, we present it to the RSC and Ncube of South Cape Town, and they'll have to take a decision and I have to take it forward.
Very last one, because we have run out of time, Andrew. As the regional congregation of SAFA, did you guys not have people at the playoffs? Did you not have representation at the playoffs?
Yes, but you must remember, in football, once a game has started, the match officials in charge, not SAFA officials. So what anything's happened there is the only people that can do anything while the game is there, it's the match commissioner and the match official. Nobody else can get involved.
I'm just asking in terms of just observation. There were people from the SAFA regional offices, as high up as yourself perhaps, who saw all of this.
Yes, there were people there, yes.
All right, you know what, Andrew, we have run out of time, but what I will do is, what kind of timelines? When can we call you back to find out how far this is?
Call me back next Wednesday.
I will. Thank you so much for taking our call. From myself and my whole team, Timmy, today I'll let Barafand you on. Not today. Pela ngansomi.